My name is Harrison, and you probably already know about me. I'm a paranormal investigator that looks into all these strange and eerie occurrences that are happening all around us. I recently spoke with Mr. William and his family, and they told me that ever since they moved into their new home, they had been plagued with demonic spirits in their home. However, since they had it treated by the church, they no longer feel anything like this in their home, and they are now living happily in their new home. After questioning him, I was driving to my house through a road when a man suddenly appeared in front of my car. My car brakes were applied in time, so I'm not sure what would have happened. Then I got out of my car and went to that man, but it appeared as if he had just had a large shock, after which that man is not in his senses, and as a result, he did not even realize he was in the midst of a moving road. "Sir, are you okay?" I inquired of the man. It appears as though my question had no impact on him, and that even my voice was inaudible to him. "Sir, can you hear my voice?" I asked the man as I once more bowed to him. "Are you all right?" It's as if my voice has reached that man's ear, and upon hearing it, he turns to face me. Looking into his eyes, it appeared as if he had sobbed a lot, causing the color of his eyes to lighten. Seeing this, I was convinced that something terrible had occurred to that man, causing him to be in such a state. The man began crying loudly as soon as he saw me and sat on the road as if the power had gone out of his feet. Seeing this, I wanted to help that man, but we were in the middle of the road, so first and foremost, I had to keep him and myself safe. So I somehow loaded him into my car and began driving on one side of the road. After safely parking the car on one side of the road, I asked the man, "Sir, are you all right now? What happened to you? And if you don't mind sharing your point with me, could I be of some assistance to you?" The man was still crying as if he wanted to take out his sadness by crying, but he couldn't. After a moment of crying, the man calmed himself and began speaking in a panic. "I have to hurry to my house. I have to save my daughter. Lest she kill my daughter as well." The man got out of my car and began sprinting. When I saw this, I jumped out of the car and raced after the man to stop him since I knew he was still in shock and had no idea what he was doing. "Wait, you're putting yourself in danger by doing this," I said as I instantly halted the man. "I don't know what occurred to you to cause you to be in such a state, but how will you save your daughter if you're acting in such a panic?" After listening to me, the man came to his senses and began telling me what had happened to him. Seeing that man in this state, I told him once more, "What happened to you that you are so concerned about, and what is the risk to your daughter? And she will kill your daughter? Why did you say that? Has she previously murdered someone in your home? Who is this lady? Is it possible to enlist the assistance of the police in this case, or is it something else?" Hearing my questions, the man tells me his story. Benjamin is a cab driver by trade and lives with his family outside of town. Amelia is his wife's name. Ava is their oldest daughter, and Lucas is their son. Amelia was fine the rest of the day when he went to work and the kids went to school. However, when her kids got home from school in the afternoon, they both noticed that their mom is looking a little more beautiful today. When I got home from work in the evening, I also noticed that my wife had changed. Wow! Everything in my house began to change the next day. Happiness began to pour in. A large sum of money began to arrive. We suddenly began finding buried treasure in the earth near our house. And my wife Amelia first revealed these riches to me while digging to cultivate vegetables in a nearby field. And then we discovered the buried treasure for the first time. After that, we began moving the valuables buried in the field from one location to another. I couldn't believe how much money was flooding in. After all of this, I quit my cab driver job and began enjoying all of these things. There was no need for me to work today because I had so much money and had enrolled my children in a large school to study. Everything was fine until one night when unusual and strange things began to happen in our lives. When we woke in the morning, we discovered that my younger son Lucas was missing from the house. Despite extensive searches, we were unable to find him. How could my kid go out alone at night when he was so young and always picked us up when he had to go somewhere at night? No one could come from the outside and sneak into our house and take him away. If he left, then where did he leave? We informed the police, and the police immediately began their investigation. In the midst of all this, though, I noticed that despite my concern for my son, my wife Amelia acted as if nothing significant had occurred. A priest came to our house one day to have his water bottle refilled. That pastor's car had broken down on the road near our house and he was out of water. So when he saw our house, he came to drink water from us. He arrived and rang the doorbell. Hearing the doorbell, I opened the gate and the pastor requested me to give him water, explaining that their car had broken down on a neighboring road and they were waiting for a mechanic while their drinking water was out. Hearing this, I called my wife Amelia and offered him a glass of water. Amelia brought water in a glass, and when she spotted the priest, she stopped and glanced at him. When the priest gazed at Amelia, he felt the same way. Amelia was staring at the preacher as she stood there awkwardly and without moving. A peculiar pity appeared on her face, as though, seeing the pastor, Amelia remained motionless, staring at the priest, as if she is warning him to leave. But when I requested my wife to come forward and give him the water, the priest remarked, "If you don't mind, may I come in and get water from them myself?" When I heard this, I told him that it was fine and he could come and take it himself. And as the pastor stepped inside, Amelia yelled out loudly, hurled the same glass of water, and dashed inside. I approached Amelia and inquired as to what had occurred. "Why are you feeling like this?" However, Amelia did not respond. When I saw this, I stood up and began giving the priest water. The priest thanked me for refilling his water bottle. He asked, "What's the problem, son? You seem quite upset to me." Hearing this, I told him, "Father, my younger son Lucas is nowhere to be found. I'm not sure where he is. I've searched, but he's nowhere to be found. Even the police haven't been able to find him yet." When the priest heard this, he looked at my house and stepped outside to tell me, "If you come to the church on the surrounding road tomorrow, I will meet you there." In addition, I was reminded that your wife should not know anything about this. I questioned the priest. "Father, why shouldn't my wife know this? Likewise, are you concerned about Lucas?" Then the priest said to me, "Just do what I've said. Come to me tomorrow and I will tell you everything." And the father went. When I entered the house, Amelia demanded to know what that beggar was saying. I stated nothing, and why was she conversing with me in this manner? In response, Amelia stated that he must be driven away from this residence if he returns. I don't like such people at all. Hearing this made me feel quite odd, but I paid it little mind. The following day, I awoke early and got dressed quickly. Amelia asked me, "Where are you going to get ready so quickly?" On this, I stated that I must meet a new client today to begin my new business. Thus, I must leave early. I left the house and proceeded directly to the church where the pastor had desired to meet me. After arriving at the location, I asked the pastors why they had summoned me there. He informed me that a wicked witch resides in your home. In response, I told him, "No, Father, everything is going well at my place and money has begun to flow in. Once my son gets here, everything will be fine again." On this point, the priest asked me, "When you arrived home from work a few days ago and entered your home, did you notice anything unusual about your wife? Since that day, your fortune has begun to improve. Have you ever pondered the cause of this unexpected improvement?" I responded, "No, Father, I have not even considered this. What is wrong with my residence? Father, kindly inform me." Regarding this, the priest informed me that the woman you consider to be your wife is actually a witch. Your wife died the same day you returned home from work at night, just as you began to find her attractive. When I heard this, I became enraged and told the priest that, "If you want money, ask for it, but do not add to my trouble by doing such things." Therefore, the pastor responded, "All right, follow your wife tonight and notice what she does. However, remember that if her eyes fall on you, you will perform the same condition as your son." In response, I asked him, "Like my son? What happened to my son?" On this, the priest instructed me to leave, wait for the night, and then come back to see him the next day. Just then, I receive a call from the police who inform me that they have discovered a child's necklace body in the pond behind my house. Hearing this, I felt as if the ground had shifted beneath my feet. I hurried from there to my house, and when I got there, I couldn't believe what I saw. My wife was crying near the pond, and I was watching her cry from a distance. As if my legs lacked the strength to move ahead. But I moved my legs and began heading in the direction where the corpse was laying. What I witnessed after arriving there, it was as if it sapped the strength from my feet. A body was pulled from the pond, and that body was dressed in my son Lucas's clothes. And of course, that body was my son Lucas. Seeing his physique, it appeared as though someone had extracted all of his blood and drank it. Normally, being in water causes the body to swell, but his body was absolutely dry. At that point, I began to recall what the preacher had said to me in church a while before, and I was convinced of it, even though I didn't want to be. And I began to doubt my wife for the first time.